Hi guys, Luke Jones here from DartsMad, and I'm back today I'm delighted to be joined by PDC ranking semi-finalist Alan Soutar. How are you, Alan? Thanks for coming on.
I'm good, Luke. Thanks for having me. It's quite exciting to be on another podcast, another thing. I've watched quite a few years, so looking forward to this one.
Brilliant, that's good to hear. Obviously, I'm going to start at February this year. You obviously attended Q School for the very first time at the tender age of 43. What finally made you make that step?
Yeah, that's it. 43 makes me sound really, really old. Thanks for that. It was just because of COVID. There was no darts, and just thought I'd give it a go. I had the backing from Big Five.
Yeah.
So it was silly not to go and have a go. So that was the only reason. Just because it was probably going to be the only darts that there was going to be this year.
Yeah. You came in obviously at the first stage, and you smashed your way through the field on day one. Obviously gaining that automatic space. Must have given you huge confidence going into the final stage, and especially because you averaged 92 for the day as well, which is a really good standard.
Yeah, I think when you talk about averages, I played county darts for years and years and for Scotland, and my average is always around 30, 31, 32. So when you equate that across to PDC, the way they look at averages, so 92 is comfortable for me, I would say. So to do that all day and to get straight through to Q School was pretty good, and it gave me a sort of a lot of confidence to go and have a proper go at Q School proper.
Yeah, and you only lost 7 legs. I think you won 4 of the 6 games 6-0.
Yeah, someone has to get this Alan Soutar draw, don't they? I was obviously a little bit lucky with some of the draws that I got, but you've still got to beat the guys that are in front of you. And if you're averaging 90 and the other guy's only averaging 70 or lower than that, then it's going to be a pretty much a 6-0 or 6-1-2 scoreline. So yeah, if they don't average 90, you're not going to win many legs.
In those cases, you've just got to play the board, haven't you?
Yeah, 100%. I always do that, and I'm aware of what the other person's scoring and how they're playing, but yeah, you just play your own game, and you know if you're putting in 15 darters or less, then the other guy's got to play really well to win that leg.
Then you went on to the final stage of Q School, and you had a brilliant run to the last 16 on day one. You went down to Gavin Carlin 6-4, but you must have been pleased with the start to get off to a solid start, and it put you in a good position for the next 3 days.
Yeah, I think the first day I played Gavin a few times because obviously he played international darts as well, so we knew each other. There was a bit of mutual respect, which guys always talk about that, and you try to block it out, but when you're kind of friendly with the player that you're playing, it makes it harder. So it was quite hard playing Gav, and again, that's one of the games I was leading, and I felt comfortable and just let it slip. I was disappointed to lose because I thought I played better than Gav, but fair play, he went on a bit of a run, and I had to go back and go there the next day and try again.
Yeah, obviously you went back, you regrouped. You had a brilliant run to the final. You beat some quality players like Jack Main, Jake Jones, Joe Mernon, and Eddie Lovely. All them went on to win a tour card. You came up against Jason Heaver in the final. What did you feel? What were your feelings going into it? Were you confident that you'd get that tour card?
Yeah, I think so. I think that the way the day had went, it was. I think even getting to the final, you kind of feel a bit relaxed, and you're like, "Good, I've got good points on the board." So that puts the pressure off you a little bit. But like you just rattled off there, the players that I beat, Jack Main, Jake Jones, these young guys are top players. I know I've seen them for the last few years being top players, and then obviously Joe Mernon and Eddie Lovely played darts for a fair few years. But yeah, to beat them guys in a row gave me confidence. But again, in the final, just came up short. You know, it's a bit, again, disappointing, but points on the board. That was all that Q School was about, getting a card, wasn't it? It's not about automatic outright winning your card. It's just about getting one of the cards.
Exactly. You played well in the final. You averaged 94.5. Obviously, you would have been disappointed with that, but at that stage, did you think I've done enough now?
Yeah, I think we were aware. When I went back to the room, and Paul, my manager Paul, spoke to me about points and where he thought we'd need to be. So by then, that was 7 points from the 2 days combined. So we kind of knew we were in a good spot. It was pretty much no scenario that could unfold with the draws over the last 2 days that would put me out of the spots for getting a tour card. So happy with that day. Happy getting to the final and having 7 points.
And yeah, you did the business in 2 days because you didn't pick up any more points after that.
Yeah, I got bashed both days afterwards.
I think the last day was Joe Mernon was there, so we can forgive you for that one.
Yeah, good lad.
But obviously, when you realised you did get a tour card, you must have been over the moon, especially it was your first go. You're 43 years of age, and now you've achieved your dream now.
Yeah, I think, do you know what? It's not such a thing that it was a huge dream and it was a big thing that I've always wanted, because obviously it wasn't, because I hadn't tried before. But I think when I set myself a goal and I think, right, I'm going to go and do this, I don't muck about, and I don't just take it lightly. I take it seriously and I practice and I prepare properly. So I don't like losing, and same as everybody, I don't like losing. But I'm quite pernickety and I want to do as well as I can. So that's, to get through was brilliant. So I set myself a target of getting a card. So to get one's, yeah, like you say, kind of dream come true is maybe a bit of an overstatement, but yeah, it was quality to get one.
You only had 8 days then to wait before making your PDC debut. Did you have any expectations for that first Super Series event?
No, not at all. Q School was obviously quite hard, but to get through it comfortably was a good sign. But when I turned up to the first Pro Tour, it was like, wow. Just I knew a lot of the players anyway from BDO days and back playing internationals against quite a lot of them, and it wasn't like I was walking into something new. It was a different setup, but it's darts against the guys that I've played against for my whole career. Just obviously a lot of them moved over to the PDC years before or just recently. So yeah, walking in that first day was a bit like it was daunting. It was daunting, and I was nervous, but I just didn't want to lose first game. I think that was the whole in my head. I just thought, please don't draw an absolute world superstar and get beat first game 6-0. Just I didn't want to lose badly, but yeah.
Yeah, and seeing how easy of a board you had must have put you so much at ease. You had Adrian Lewis, Dave Chisnell, and Johnny Creighton.
Yeah, never heard of them guys before. So yeah, I thought this is going to be a breeze. There's going to be some 6-0s on my side here. Yeah, it was. Do you know what? I expected it because I looked into it all and I knew how the draw worked, and I knew that you have 2 seeds from the top 32 on your board. So the good chance you're going to get one first round, if not second round. So I looked at it all and I was kind of expecting a tough one, but not as tough as that. I don't think I was expecting it to be quite so hard.
You made the 2 rounds look easy. 6-5, 6-5. 99 average against Lewis, 94 against Chisnell, and then you went down 6-5 then to Johnny Creighton in the board final.
Yeah, I think the first 2 to win 6-5 against Lewis, it was a really tight game, and obviously a 99 average is going to win you a good chunk of matches. The 94 against Chizzy, do you know what? I let Dave get 5 legs just to get his confidence up, and then started coming back at him. You know, he's been down in the dumps a little bit. No, I just I was lucky to win that one. You know, I was 5-2 down and came back to win. And then Johnny Clayton, been friends with him for a long time, and like you say, he's a good Welshman, so I had to let him win and have a little bit of a run that weekend. You know, I didn't want to dent his confidence because he's on a bit of a high just now.
And he did go on to make 3 finals out of the 4, and he eventually won one on day 3. So you can't be disheartened at that.
No, I was happy winning a couple of games, and I gave Johnny a push. You know, I was sitting on 112. I was on a checkout and he checked out. So a decent start, and I don't mind losing to good darts. You know, if I've played well and the other person's played well, I've got no problems with shaking hands and saying, well done, good luck in the next round. No problem at all with that.
And you kicked on day 2 as well. You got to the board final again. Another 6-5 loss. To this time, it was the eventual champion, Callan Ridds. In round 1, you produced a unbelievable performance against Peter Wright. You won 6-2 with a 105 average. And then you've done it all again. You upped it a tad against Peter Hudson, 6-2 with 105.4 average. Did you just, with those performances, did you think, what have I just done, or is that what you expect of yourself?
Yeah, it's not. I wasn't shocked by it. I can average over 100 quite regular, but to do it on the Pro Tour, to do it when you're just new,
Yeah.
It was a good feeling. To beat Peter Wright was good. It was a bit of a an all Scotland clash, and he's a top player, so it was good. It was good to put a marker down against a player like him. And Pete Hudson, I've known Pete for years, and I marked a few of his. I marked a game at Q School of his, and he was unbelievable. So I was nervous going into that game, thinking I need to really produce here. And that when you think you have to produce, sometimes it comes out, and it just did against Pete, and it was a good performance against him as well. So yeah, really good. Funny about Callan Ridge, actually, I played for Scotland when he played for England as a youth. So he was a youth player playing for England youth, and I played for Scotland as a senior, and then we ended up playing each other, and there was a bit of respect there, and it was a good match, and a lot of times it's really serious, but we said to each other good darts for 140s, 180s and things. So it was a good mannered game, and a lot of respect for Callan. He's became an absolutely top class player. So good luck to him in the next couple of seasons, and hope he pushes on and does really well.
Well, I did bet on Callan on winning it, but it was the day before that I bet on. It was not good. My kind of luck.
Yeah, that sucks. Unlucky, man.
Obviously, third day then, you stormed your way into the last 16. And again, you lost to Raymond van Barneveld, who again went on to win it. Yeah, that goes to show how well people have to play against you to beat you.
Yeah, I think so. I think I don't know what the right word. I'm not a mug. I'm not a new guy. I've not just snuck a tour card sort of thing and flipped my way through. I've played darts for a long time, so I know if I turn up and play, I know these guys are looking at me thinking, this guy can play. We need to up our game, or we need to be at a certain level to beat him. So yeah, to get the last 16 that day, I'd already played on the live stream against Chizzy, and then I played the live stream there against Barney, and playing him was a bit, I could have went in the lead, and he checked out a big checkout, and it was a bit disappointing because I kind of fizzled out against him and didn't really produce good darts. It was maybe still low 90 average, but you need more than that against Barney, and even now when he's just coming back, he's still a top class player.
And then on the last day, then Mervyn King, it took 106.5 average to beat them. What do you do to these players to make them?
I don't know. They must just get nervous against me. No, they obviously don't get nervous. They just the game against Merv King, he was hitting absolutely. I'm obviously standing at the back. I'm kind of a player that I know everyone says play the board and don't worry about what your opponent does, but I kind of look and I watch, and because you have to be aware of where you are in the leg and where they are. So I was watching his darts, and it's like he's not missing anything. And all the checkouts, he's coming down, he's going bump, bump, bump off your pot. And I was just like, well played, unbelievable. And I marked his next game against Damon Heta, and he played rubbish and got beat. So that's the way it goes. That's darts. You've got the highs and the lows very, very quickly.
I'm guessing he didn't have one of his famous Mervyn Mons against you.
No, he was really sound. I've not found. I've not found any of the players to be, that they do what happens on TV events and what a lot of the stories in the media and different things. I find most of them to be all right so far. I'm not one for fist pumping and over celebrating or anything like that. So I probably don't get under people's skin like other players probably do. So I don't encounter that as much as other guys. So Merv sounds a pound. He's a good guy.
Yeah. Then came the UK Open, and you see the draw for this second round. You came in and you pitted up against Raymond van Barneveld again. Are you thinking, I'm not letting him beat me this time?
I had a bit of fun on Twitter and Facebook saying I wanted to speak to the PDC tournament director because the draws were ridiculous I was getting. It was just when I got enough money to get in the second round draw, I thought, right, good, you've missed sort of maybe a harder task. And then probably the hardest new tour card holder I could have got was Barney, and crazy. But at the same time, he kind of knew what I'd done the last couple of weeks before that, and what Barney's a big superstar. I thought that's going to be on TV, so it's a chance for me a chance for me to play on TV and very first PDC event on TV, and also I played Lakeside previously and not done great, so it was maybe a chance to put right a few demons, and I hadn't performed on TV before, so it was good to play him. It was really good to play him on TV, and obviously to play well was a bonus.
You got to the last 16. You beat quality player Mickey Mansell, Stephen Bunting, Ron Mewlenkamp, and then you came up against Dave Chisnell in the last 16. You had that game in the palm of your hand, really, didn't you? So you ended up going down 10-8. Obviously, nothing. Last 16 in your first UK PDC majors, nothing to be sniffed at. But did you feel that game got away from you?
Yeah, I think I'm also one that likes to watch games back, so I watched it back when I got home, and just so disappointing because it was kind of going back and forward the game, and then I got a little nudge and I went 8-6 up, and I thought, right, come on, all you're thinking is 2 good legs on your throw, he's got to break you, but then Chizzy done Chizzy stuff, and he put in 2 11 darters, and I kind of standing. I felt a bit in the last leg because I was done. He done me. So hands up, fair play, Dave. And yeah, when I look at it and I look at the draw opening up after that, I thought so there was a chance there to go even further, but I can't. If you said to me you win a few games at the UK Open and get a few grand on your rankings, I'd have been happy. So to get that far and to pick up 7.5 on the rankings was superb. Can't complain.
Well, you didn't dwell on that really, because the very next Players Championship you got to the last 4. And has Peter Wright done something to annoy you?
Is he Scottish? I don't know. Nah. Do you know what? I think
104 average again.
Yeah. Do you know what? I think I'm probably a better player when I think I have to play my best darts. If I'm playing against a tough player, I think to myself, right, come on. And I probably focus and concentrate more every single throw, every single leg. Where if I'm playing a player that I think I'm equal to, or there's players that I think I'm better than, maybe I don't play my best. And I can lose games like that, and I lose with silly games with 80 plus averages instead of being at the game where I should be. So it's something I need to put right. But Peter, actually, good about Peter, he's been brilliant with me the whole time. I've known him at exhibitions. I've done a few things at exhibitions, but not like overly friendly with him or spoke to him too much. But after beating him the second time, he came over and he sat with me at my table, and we had a conversation for maybe 10, 15 minutes just about the PDC and about darts and about if I ever needed anything to give him a shout. And just, he was so good. And it was quite funny because I beat him 6-4 and I beat him 6-2. It was 6-2, then 6-4. And he said, it's my turn the next time. I'll get the 6. So he was having a bit of banter about it. So yeah, he's been absolutely brand new, and it's good to beat players like that and to perform well with 100 plus averages. So yeah, it's really good.
You lost agonisingly really in the semi-final to Michael Smith. But did you ever imagine that in 5 events you'd reach a PDC semi-final?
Nah, never in a million years. I genuinely just want to win one game every time I play on the Pro Tour. Win your first game and then see where it takes you. But to get to the semis that day, I beat Duzza that day as well, and I beat a couple other players, which good, happy with. But now I've been to the semi-final, I've been to a quarter-final, a semi-final. You've got to set your targets, and you've got to say, right, I want to make a final. So the next step for me is to try and make a Pro Tour final. So if I can make a final, once you're in the final, it's a one-shot game. You got a chance to win it. So I'd love to repeat that. I'd love to get to a semi or a quarter again and see how far we can go. But I'd love to win a Pro Tour. That's now from going from just wanting to win a game. I actually want to do well and win things now. So yeah, it's gave me a hunger that I maybe didn't have before. So
do you genuinely think it won't be too long till you win one of these events?
I don't know. When you look at other players like Dimitri and Dirk and players like that are just winning their first Pro Tours after being there for so long, I think it's a bit arrogant to think that you can just come in and win a Pro Tour. It's not easy. You know yourself. It's not an easy place to win a leg of darts, never mind a tournament. So yeah, if I practice and put more time in, I think I can still have some deep runs, and if it's my day, it's my day, and I can maybe go on and win one. But let's not let's not get carried away. I think I've had a good start, but I need to. Germany was maybe an eye opener because I didn't do as well, so it brought me back down to ground a bit, and I need to practice again. So practice harder.
Yeah, I was just going to mention Germany. You lost your first opening round match of your PDC career. It took you, I think it was the 12th match.
Yeah.
Lost. It took you 12 matches to lose an opening round game. It was to Rob Cross, so it wasn't a bad player. That's some record given the players you come up against in the first round of tournaments.
Yeah, I actually seen it on Twitter a while back that there was only, before Germany, there was only 3 players, myself, Joe Cullen and Damon Heta, that had won every first round game this year. So that was quite a cool thing. I didn't really, you don't think about darts that way, but all the guys on all these all these pages love that sort of stat. So that gave me a bit of confidence, but it also made me think about it. So I was kind of in my head, if I won my first round game, did Damon win his because Joe Cullen didn't travel to Germany? So it was kind of, instead of just concentrating on that, you were thinking about, is Damon won his game, what's happened? And so in a way, I'm probably glad that that's done and out of the way, and I've lost a first round game now, so it's not a thing anymore. So if I can just keep picking up wins and just consolidate my ranking, and obviously the rankings are so hard to climb. I obviously had a big jump to start with. Now to climb anywhere above where I am is so hard to close the gap. So just picking up money at every event you possibly can to try and get yourself up there's the plan. That's the plan.
You bounced back from that opening round defeat. You didn't let it happen again. You made the board final the next day where you lost to Dimitri Vandenberg, who averaged 105.2 to beat you again. So that shows how well they have to play. You must be delighted with what you've achieved in your short career so far in the PDC, though.
Yeah, I think that's what we just touched on before about guys having 100 averages to beat me. That sort of shows you. I think I had a 99, 98, 99 average as well. It was a good game. And after that game, actually, Dimitri, he ticked out a ton in 2 darts to win it. And he sort of, his shoulders, he let go. And he's like, oh. And I could see him doing that. And he's on the top of the world just now, Premier League, winning tournaments. So I know he was under pressure playing me, and I could feel it. And then at the end of the match, he'd let out a big sigh of relief. And I thought, well, there you go. That gives me everything. I take information and process it, and everything I see from players when I play them, I think, okay. And I just add it to my sort of memory and think, right, okay, I know he's a bit worried about playing me. And it gives me, the next time I play him, I'm going to be right, okay, he's not confident of smashing me off the board. So if I can put in a few legs here, a couple of low legs, and give him a bit of a scare, then you never know what's going to happen. So, yeah, I'm absolutely thrilled with how it's going so far. But I'm never one that just sort of rests on the laurels and goes, it's been good. I want more. And once you start tasting victory against these guys, you want to sort of go in there and you want to have a bit of swagger in the venue and sort of go, I'm here. Come on then, guys. Let's see what you've got. And that's a good feeling. It's a good feeling just now.
And that's another player who's beaten you, who's gone on to win the event. They must think I've got suits out of the way now. I'm going to win this.
Yeah, well, that's the thing is when the draw comes out, I was saying people won't want to play me, but maybe they do now. Maybe they want to play me because they might have a chance of going on to win it. So, it's a funny thing how that works and how scenarios play out like that, isn't it? It's crazy.
Yeah. You mentioned there, you touched on it, you've rapidly risen up the rankings. Now you're up to 79. You need to be in that top 64 by the end of next year. You must be confident you're going to get in there now.
I'm not confident, but I think I've put in a lot already, and I've jumped a big few places. When I look at other guys that got their card at Q School and see they maybe only on a couple of grand, then that gives me a perspective of how well it's went so far. And top 64 is obviously the goal, because there's no point in going to the PDC and getting a tour card and then letting it go after the 2 years. You need to now think, right, I'm in. I've got the golden ticket. Let's push on and keep it. So, top 64. I don't know about this year, but that's not important. As long as we can get in the top 64 by year 2, then I'd be more than happy with just being 64th and keeping my card. But obviously the sky's the limit with the PDC, and it's a big machine. So let's see how far we can go, and it's quite interesting because you're so far down the rankings that you have something to look to achieve. You've got targets. There's many targets you can set to catch a certain player or break a 75 or a 70. You know, so let's just. That's my sort of little mini targets for me to try and, just catch Lisa Ashton, for example. She was four and a bit grand above me. So if I can keep closing the gap on her, just catch her, and then you just pick them off one at a time. If you can, obviously, they're there to win money as well and get up the rankings. So we'll see how it goes.
And then the Worlds obviously must be a massive goal for you as well, because you've played at the Lakeside of the BDO, and to be able to say you've played at both codes in the World Championships would be a huge feat.
Yeah, that's now the biggest driving factor trying to get to Ali Pali, because of the Lakeside link, and because I think there's not that many players. Obviously, the older guys have all done it, but the younger guys have maybe not been to Lakeside and then straight in the PDC and away that route and played at Ali Pali a few times. But to have played at Lakeside is huge for me because I'm a darts fan and everyone loves Lakeside. So to play at Ali Pali would be special. And I kind of been saying it the last few weeks because of the pandemic. Let's hope that there's fans in London by December. Let's hope. We don't know what's going to happen, but if that was back to full house and playing, it would be fantastic. That would just top off an already great year, no matter what happens in the next sort of 6 months. Is if I can play there, sort of get another TV event and make people in Scotland proud, then let's have a real good go at it.
Yeah, and it gives you an opportunity then to win a couple of games there and you shoot your way up the rankings.
Yeah, I think you can't look ahead of yourself, but I think you need to win, at least win your first game, and that's a big chunk. And then if you can take out one of the seeds and get a bit of rub of the green, then you can. Ali Pali's where you can take a huge jump in it with the rankings. Huge.
Yeah. One more question before I let you go. And I ask everyone this, and it's going to put you on the spot, so I apologize about that. Going from number 5 down to number 1, who's your top 5 players ever to play the game?
Okay, so I was ready for this because I've watched some of your stuff before, so I know you're going to ask. So I'm not on the spot. But so for me, my favourite player in the world is Gary Anderson. So number 1 is Gary Anderson, and I'll always sort of put him in there. Number 2 might be a strange one for you and for people watching. Bob Taylor. So Bob Taylor from Aberdeen played at Lakeside lots of times, and I played counties when I was really young, 14, 15 years old, and Bob Taylor was in the Grampian side. And to be playing counties at a young age and to be this guy that was always at Lakeside and a Scotland player, I just loved him as a player. So those 2 are the top 2 there. But next 3 are a bit strange, but they're always going to be. These 3 go together because this is something that's part of my history in darts as well. So Ross Montgomery, Gary Stone, Craig Baxter. Now, the reason for this is that is the Scotland team that won the WDF World Cup team event gold medal in 2013 in Canada. So regardless of Phil Taylor and Michael Van Gerwen and all their achievements in darts, personally, for me, my all-time favourite players, those 3 will always be in there. I've done so much with Ross Montgomery. I've won 11 WDF medals with him. So now I'm moving away from playing in the BDO and the WDF. So I won't get the opportunity to play with Ross anymore unless he maybe makes the switch. But Ross, Montgomery, Gary Stone and Craig Baxter, for me, that's my favourite 3 players in Scotland because of the World Cup when we were such a good team over there and such a tight unit, and that's long going to live in my memory. Even to go on to play at Ali Pali and to win tournaments in the PDC, I think to win the World Cup in Canada was huge for me. So I was a little bit prepared for your question. So
but there's one player who's going to be very cross with you, and that's Dieter Hedman.
Well, you know what? She'll tell me off on the chat later on Big Five chat probably. But do you know what? I think inside Big Five we've got such a great set of people as well. John O'Shea, Nick Kenny. I love Nick Kenny. He's a great guy. John O'Shea's crazy as a frog. Dieter, I'm scared of Dieter. I have so much respect for her, but I'm scared of her. So can you put Dieter number 1, please?
Okay. Here we go, Dieter. You're in.
Edit it and put Dieter number 1, please. Nah, she's a great lady and she does so much for youth darts and that in England as well. So I love her. She's brilliant.
All right. Well, thank you for joining me. It's been fun, and I wish you all the best going forward. And hopefully, you can deliver that first PDC title. No pressure.
Nah. There's always pressure in the PDC, but thanks, Luke. Thanks, Luke, and it's good to have some light-hearted banter and light-hearted chat. But anytime you want me back on or anytime going forward, then good luck with everything you're doing as well yourself, sir. Well done.
Thank you, Alan. Cheers, mate.
Thank you.
Bye.